You can say hello, Madeline.
Hello.
And thank you for being here. And we also have Isabel Hodgkin. Hello, Isabella.
Hi.
And they're both from Franklin Central School. And also from Franklin Central is teacher Julie DiCarlo, who got involved in this project, gave a lot of her time and energy and encouragement to these students. Hello, Julie. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having us. We're really excited. I can't believe it's Isabel and Maddie's video debut. So thank you for having us.
This could be the start of something. You know, when the winners were announced of the essay contest, I found it interesting that all the middle school winners, the honorable mention, third, second, and first place, all came from Franklin Central. And I found out that this, in part, was due to Julie DiCarlo's time and energy for these students. So let's give a big round of applause for her. So we're going to just jump right in here and ask our first reader, Isabel Hodgkin, just to give her name, grade, and school, and we'll just launch you right into your essay.
I'm Isabella Hodgkin from 6th grade, Franklin Central School. Romeo and Juliet is a classic Shakespeare play. It was written in 1595. Romeo and Juliet was an amazing play, but imagine it like this. Romeo and Juliet with cell phones and social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Romeo and Juliet would be so much different with cell phones. Romeo and Juliet would have most likely not have died. They would have texted each other about the friar's plan. In the play, the friar had a plan for Juliet so she didn't have to marry the prince. His plan was to give Juliet a potion to make her seem dead for 24 hours. Then, with cell phones, the friar would have texted Romeo about it. And once Juliet was in her tomb, Romeo would have found Juliet and they would have lived happily ever after. That's how it would have been with phones and social media. At least that's one possibility, but that's not the way it went in the real story. Actually, Romeo never got the letter because letters and deliverers are unfaithful. Being that Romeo was supposed to get the letter and never got it, he heard what everyone else heard, that Juliet was dead. So he wound up buying real poison, going to Juliet's tomb, and killing herself next to her. Now, if this happened with phones, Juliet probably would have woke up, tweeted on Twitter, OMG, boyfriend just killed himself for me. Hashtag Romeo and Juliet. Hashtag how sweet. LOL Romeo. Just for the record, Juliet, LOL does not mean lots of love. In our society today, we do more texting and social media than we do face-to-face conversations. According to an article in Huffington Post, kids do not know how to handle face-to-face conflict because most of their interactions happen through some form of technology or social media. Actually, our written language has been getting worse as well. Kids and adults tend to abbreviate most long words. The use of technology and social media is refraining kids from picking up books as well. We've gotten so used to the idea that the internet and social media gives us all the answers. Whenever I would ask my father what a word meant, he would say, that means dictionary. That meant to go get a dictionary so you learn something. He still believes in the power of books and he's passed that on to me. All these negative things have brought him some good things too. People around the world are realizing that we do need to take breaks from technology and social media more often. Parents are limiting children's time on technology. There is more reading time in schools around the world, and people are just plainly using less technology and social media. People need to appreciate the positives too. Having technology in school can be good. Some children don't like to read in school and they learn better with visual models. Social media is good for connection. If you need to reach out to someone and you don't know their address, you can post pictures and tag them in it. Or if you have family and friends that live far away, you can easily reach them. I feel as if I have found the balance between social media and books. I feel as if I can decipher when to read or when to use social media. In conclusion, there's been plenty of ups and downs in the media technology world, and this has affected us greatly, in admirable and immoral ways. And if we put Romeo and Juliet in our time, it would be quite interesting.
To say the least. Isabel, excellent. That was just just wonderful. You make so many good points, visual models, balancing books and social media. What do you read?
Well, we're reading right now a book called But Not Buddy in school. We're also reading a memoir, and mine is called Brown Girl Dreaming, and I'm also reading the last book in the Twilight series right now.
That's quite a bookshelf you got going on there. Thank you so much. Congratulations. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Let's ask our next student, Madeline, just to give her full name and grade in school, and you'll hear another excellent essay.
I'm Madeline McLaughlin. I'm in 6th grade, and I go to Franklin Central School. I think that Romeo and Juliet would have been a completely different story if there had been advanced technology. Instead of the famous quote, "Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" it would have been like, "Romeo, Romeo, why can't thou damn me?" And instead of going to Friar Lawrence to get married, they would have just gone to Facebook and changed their relationship status to Taken. Also, instead of the Montagues and the Capulets, it would have been like the Beliebers and the Katy Cats, just because fangirls would have started a riot like this one. Instead of Mercutio and Tybalt being killed, they just would have been cyberbullied. Cyberbullying would have been just as serious as being killed. I know a quote from January Snow by Jared Campbell, which is, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words hurt more than you'll ever know." I find that bullying is very hard to overcome, and being killed is just dreadful, but both are horrible, though it still happens. Anyway, rather than being based in Verona, Italy, it would have been based in a mall, and one loves Apple and the other loves Samsung. It would have been just hectic if there was advanced technology. I mean, Romeo and Juliet was absolutely incredible, but if there were smartphones and all that jazz, it would have been a disaster. It would just have been appalling if Juliet talked like a 13-year-old girl and Romeo acted like a 17-year-old boy. Juliet would send emoticons and Romeo would wear a snapback and joggers. Since it was written in 1595, and if they had stuff like iPhone 7s, then imagine the stuff we would have now. It would have been stuff like hovering cars and robots. Anyway, Romeo and Juliet is by far one of the most famous plays, I assume. I really want to read the play myself, but I think I'm a tad too young. Even if Romeo and Juliet had technology, I think they would still have died, whether it was suicide or homicide. I think that they would commit suicide because they could just be that depressed, or homicide because people could just be that angry at them. How they died for each other is the most touching part in my mind. I would say that I'm really into romance and sci-fi, so it definitely fits one of my favorite genres. I can say in confidence that no one these days thinks with the same passionate thoughts as William Shakespeare once thought. He was so brilliant, and to believe someone that long ago has such a talent is unreal. I wish he was still alive now. Technology was most likely improved by life. Without it, I would have a pretty hard life. I use technology to tell my mom where I am. I use it to tell the time. I love texting my friends because they keep me sane. I like texting them after school because it relieves stress. Yes, I do get in fights and everything, but in the end, we're all friends. Even though I do get in fights, in the end, I'm always happy that technology was invented. I would probably say that technology has a downside, too. It's a way for me to communicate, give me something to do when I'm bored, and I'm not gonna lie, gossip to my friends because I'm an 11-year-old girl. I tend to do these things. It's a way for people to communicate, but known from past experience, a lot of kids around the ages of 11 to 18 tend to say pretty hurtful things while texting, mostly because it's easier to say things screen to screen rather than face to face. Nowadays, it's always screen to screen and no real human contact. You can just move your thumbs and bam, a friendship is ruined. It's amazing how you can talk to people and have them reply in less than 2 to 5 business days. Back to what I was saying, it has saved people's lives, but also ruined many friendships and relationships. Though it does help people like scientists, doctors, and people with occupations of that sort. Scientists can go and research previous studies, and doctors can keep you alive. I mean, technology isn't just phones and TVs, it's also things like lights and clocks. I think that stuff like phones, iPads, iPods, etc., have definitely put an impact on today's generation. One day in dance class, it was a girl's birthday, and apparently she got an iPhone 7. So I'm just thinking, she's just 12. Why does she need an iPhone 7 at that age? But then again, it wasn't my decision, so technology has its ups and downs. I believe that Romeo and Juliet was a true masterpiece. I think that William Shakespeare was a true genius. The story is just incredible since it was written in 1595 and based in the 1300s. I also adore the whole plot between the Montagues and the Capulets, even though they might need some therapy, and how it inspired so many great movies such as West Side Story and Romeo and Juliet. In conclusion, Romeo and Juliet would have been a totally different story if they had advanced technology, but I think we are better with it than without it. So as William Shakespeare once said, good night, parting is such sweet sorrow, till I say good night till it be morrow.
Very well done. And your little quote in Shakespeare to end it. I love the point you made about saying things face to face as opposed to, kind of being an anonymous online.
Yeah.
You can say things that you wouldn't really have the courage to say face to face. You are listening to the writer's voice here. We just heard the winning essays from Writers in the Mountains Matilda Friedman Essay Contest, which was this year hashtag Romeo and Juliet. And you are listening to WIOX Community Radio, 91.3 FM, here in downtown Roxbury in the Central Catskills. I'm going to listen to a little Dire Straits Romeo and Juliet, and then we will talk with Julie DiCarlo and the two winners, Madeline and Isabel, a little bit further.
Sing the streets a serenade, laying everybody low with a love song that he made.